Imagine this, you're in a tournament with a prize pool of $1.5 billion. This tournament revolves around you and 50 other contestants battling in a series of games utilizing your unique abilities. Maybe you've got time manipulation, causality altering abilities, or even the power to rewrite reality itself. Sounds pretty unbeatable, right? The prize is definitely yours. But then, in walks Ajimu Najmi, and suddenly every plan you had goes up in smoke. With 12 quadrillion abilities, Ajimu doesn't just play the game, she rewrites the rules before you even know what's happening. The total number of stars in our observable universe is 100 to 400 billion, but Ajimu has more abilities than that. Basically, Ajimu has every ability you could possibly imagine. With that many abilities, there's no way she doesn't. Whether stopping time, jumping between dimensions, or making sure she can never get hurt, she's got an answer for every situation. When you're up against someone with literally every power in existence, the odds of winning aren't just stacked against you, they're practically impossible. Think about it, if you're facing off against someone like Ajimu, every time you make a move, she's already anticipated it and has a counter ready. You think you can stop time to get the upper hand? No, she can also reverse or freeze time too. Want to break her down to the atomic level? Too bad, she negates all damage. So, what's the takeaway from all this? If Ajimu went all out, no one would stand a chance. It's not even a fair fight. If she wasn't invincible, the fact that she has every power someone could think of makes her nearly impossible to defeat. This is just one example of a character that theoretically can't be beaten. Like sure, the story has shown them getting beaten, but Ajimu doesn't really put her all into every fight and sorta just lets people win. 12 quadrillion abilities gives her an answer for almost any situation. However, there are plenty of figures in fiction whose abilities theoretically make them unbeatable, and no matter what abilities you have, it will mean nothing to them. One of these individuals is Altair. Altair is not originally part of any established story. Altair is not part of any established story. She wasn't tied to any specific rules or lore. She's simply a character design. The tragic part of her origin is that her creator passed away before they could give her a story or full development. But here's the twist. She wasn't just abandoned in the void. Instead, the internet took over, and people fell in love with her character. They created fan art, fanfiction, and headcanons around her. They gave her a Tommy gun. Others had her teleport. Some said she could turn enemies into flowers, and others took it even further, giving her powers like controlling causality, being a master of intellect, or even controlling time itself. So, how does this translate to the real world? Well, when Altair comes to our world, she doesn't have a set story or origin to follow. Instead, the collective imagination of everyone who interacted with her through fanfiction, art, and stories becomes her reality. The fan creations that the internet accepts and embraces actually becomes her powers. Altair's power is called Holopsicon, and it's a terrifying, limitless ability. With Holopsicon, Altair can access any ability that's been created for her on the internet, from telekinesis to flight to teleportation, clairvoyance, and beyond. The more people imagine her with a specific power, the more likely it is to become a part of her. And it doesn't stop there. If enough people on the internet accept a new idea, it becomes reality. Anyone can create a new power for her. If someone writes a fanfiction where Altair can breathe fire, or if an artist draws her with the ability to control gravity, those abilities become a part of her. It's not just about one person, it's about what the entire internet collectively agrees on. If there's not enough support for a new ability, it won't become real. This means that theoretically, Altair can have any ability you can think of. You could say she can defeat any fictional character, and if enough people believe it or create that narrative, it'll become part of her power set. So, let's really think about it. There's no end to what she can do, because it's entirely dependent on what the world creates for her. Want her to suddenly have the power of omniscience, or always be in the right place at the right time? It can happen. She has potential to surpass any character, regardless of how powerful they are, because she can simply absorb the abilities what people imagine for her. This means that even if someone could theoretically defeat her, she just absorbed her abilities and turned the tables in an instant. She represents the power of creation itself, a living embodiment of how creativity and the collective will of the audience can manifest into reality. The moment she enters the world, there's no stopping her, because as long as people continue to create for her, she'll never be limited. Someone who does have a limit to the amount of powers they have, but are still formidable, is Ren Fuji. Initially, he had a broad range of powers like lightning, raising the dead, and the ability to turn off immortality, which is already a terrifying set of abilities. But everything changed when Ren became a Hado god. This transformation took his powers to an entirely new level, turning him into something far beyond a mere human or even an extraordinary being. A Hado god is essentially a living universe. When Ren sits on a metaphysical throne, he gains the ability to impose his laws on the universe. Imagine that he can literally force reality itself to obey his will, making it so everyone and everything within his influence is subject to his rules. This is the level of power that puts him on the realm of true divinity, where he's no longer just manipulating elements, but rewriting the very fabric of existence around him. Before he became a Hado god, Ren already had an impressive ability to control time, but his powers were limited. He could slow down or speed up time for himself, which allowed him to move faster than almost anyone. Lightning itself was like a snail to him. He could unleash hundreds, if not thousands of punches in less than a millisecond. This made Ren an absolute nightmare to deal with in combat, especially when it enhances your speed and stats to that level. But his true potential is what happened when he ascended to a Hado god. His time manipulation abilities evolved in a way that made them absolute, no longer limited. It extended across the entire universe and beyond. Now Ren doesn't just manipulate time, he can stop it entirely, and not just in the usual sense. His time stop effects, realms where time itself doesn't even exist, and places that aren't bound by the typical rules of time. Imagine a place where time has no meaning, yet Ren's time stop works there too. This isn't some standard time stop you can power through. Ren's time stop is unstoppable, no matter what abilities or hacks you have. He used it to halt the laws of another reality-bending god, a being whose power was supposed to be unstoppable. In essence, nothing's a threat to him when it comes to time manipulation. No matter the level of hacks or the nature of the abilities his enemies wield, Ren's time stop trumps everything. You can't nullify it, you cannot escape it, and you certainly cannot power through it with anything you've got. True Ancestors are a unique class of vampires that possess abilities far surpassing those of ordinary vampires. Archwade, as a true ancestor, has enhanced speed and strength. Her base strength is comparable to heroic spirits like Cucullin, Saber, and Heracles, allowing her to destroy entire buildings and vast stretches of land with ease. She's durable enough to survive attacks capable of destroying several city blocks. Unlike traditional vampires, her power is linked directly to the planet, allowing her to draw an unlimited amount of strength whenever necessary. This connection makes her an ever-evolving force in nature, one that grows stronger as needed to surpass her opponent. During combat, Archwade's output is not fixed. Instead, it adapts to the strength of her adversary, consistently surpassing them by one level. This unique ability ensures that no matter how powerful her opponent is, Archwade will always be stronger. At 30% of her true power, Archwade can face even the most formidable of opponents. This gives her an overwhelming advantage in battle, as she can continuously tap into the planet's energy to adjust her strength to stay ahead. In essence, her power is limitless and adaptive. The only potential flaw in this system is the existence of opponents with very specific and hacked abilities that can maybe bypass her natural advantage. However, because of her nature as a true ancestor, she doesn't really have the concept of death, meaning that not only would you have to bypass her limitless strength, you'd also have to find a way to kill her permanently. However, such opponents are extremely rare and often require heavily specialized concept-destroying powers that contend with her. Ultimately, Archwade's connection to the Earth and her nature as a true ancestor ensures that no matter what battle or adversary, her strength will always be superior. There are other characters who theoretically can't be beaten, like SCP-682, whose powers of adaptation has allowed it to survive basically everything in the universe, and becomes immune to phenomena, and becomes immune to every phenomena in some way. And then there's the Wonder of You, whose powers are connected to the laws of logic and calamity, meaning the world itself will protect them, endlessly attacking those who pose a threat. Cosmic Armor Superman was created as a last resort to protect the multiverse from cosmic threat for any mortal or traditional hero to defeat. Mandrak, the Dark Monitor, a being capable of consuming entire realities. Cosmic Armor Superman was forged from a higher plane of existence, existing not as a regular version of the Man of Steel, but as a transcendent force designed to safeguard all creation. His powers are nearly limitless, including omnipotence, reality manipulation, and invulnerability. allowing him to alter fabric of time, space, and matter on a multiversal scale. His strength and speed and durability survive any traditional Superman, while his cosmic armor is self-repairing and impervious to even the most destructive forces. Beyond his immense physical power, he operates with a complete awareness of the multiverse, perceiving the past, present, and future simultaneously. This awareness extends to the meta-consciousness, where he is aware of the reader and the narrative, making him aware of his place within the fictional world. Because of his transcendence over the laws of reality, his ability to adapt and heal instantly, and his role as a guardian of existence itself, Cosmic Armor Superman is effectively unbeatable, capable of overcoming any challenge or adversary, even those that threaten the very foundation of reality. So, if all these supposedly unbeatable characters were to battle, who would win? Well, I'd say Altair would come out on top. Her powers are basically anything we can think of, and we could easily write her to have a counter to all these abilities on this list. There's kinda no debating this. She basically has infinite scaling and hacks, all thanks to the nature of her existence. However, if none of us decided to give her the appropriate abilities to win, then the clear strongest would be SCP-682, as he'd easily adapt to every ability on this list, no matter their hacks.